What's up, guys? Cass here, bringing you another wonderful cast for StarCraft 2. Today we are playing ZvT. We got a Zerg versus Terran. We got the Terran player up here in the bottom right, and then me, yours truly, down here in the bottom left playing Zerg. Now, we've got Burial. I assume I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Sorry about that, buddy. And Castiel. I sent as per usual, I sent my first Overlord that I had opposite my natural, and the second one that I'll be bringing out any second now, actually. This is not going very fast at all. Very shortly, there it is. It goes straight to my natural. If the Burial already has his scout running up to the other side, he assumes that I am in that corner, I'm assuming. There's a lot of assumption going on. But he's already started up walling off his ramp, his small ramp here, supply, and then barracks, and then he's going to do another supply. And he's got a nice little high ground advantage here, which is pretty nice for Terran. You want that kind of high ground. As for his units there, he's got a lot more stuff in production than me. I'm kind of taking it slow in the beginning, not really sure why, but I've already got my pool up, which is good, and one of my gas, and I'm working on my hatchery expansion, which you kind of want to be quick in these early stages against the Terran. You usually want to go hatchery, pool, gas. I kind of did that a little backwards. I did pool, gas, hatchery. Well, I did pool, hatchery, gas, but, you know, that's the way it goes. I don't have any workers in here yet. I guess I decided I was taking my sweet time on that one. But I am leading as far as the... Well, I was leading as far as the... now I'm leading as far as the workers go. His army supply is a little higher than mine, but it's counting my queen, so not really... He sends a scout in. Queen takes it out real quick. Meanwhile, over here in good old Terran base, we got a little bit more supply coming in. I'm supply capped right now, not good, but I'm bad about that sort of thing. That's one of my downfalls. He's already started producing some Marines here. Both of us are doing pretty decent on APM as far as the... this is a Silver League game. Nothing spectacular, but we've got at least a little bit going for us as far as the APM goes. This was actually one of my higher APM games. It was reaching upwards of 100 at some points, but I averaged about 50. Worker supply, I'm definitely way ahead of him at this point in the game. I've got another 30% on top of what he has, and our army supply is staying pretty even. Because at this point, I have started creating another queen. They're both working on their injects. I've got lair going up. I've got dual upgrades here. My other gas is up, and they're actually manned now. A little bit of static defense going on, a lot of static defense going on over here because he's got some air that he's been harassing me with. He actually will attempt to do some harass drops with his medivacs back here, which he has not got the starport yet for. Oh, there it is. There's the starport, and here comes his first medevac now, and he's about to start working on that harass. So he's not doing too bad either, but his scouting has led him astray, it looks like, because he's got all these damn missile turrets, but I don't have any air at all. There's his army, growing slowly but surely. He could really do with a few... pro tip, here we go. I got a pro tip for you. He's got the reactor on his one barracks here. He really needs to have like 3 barracks by this point, and possibly be into his next expansion, but this is Silver League, so nothing crazy. But he does have a siege tank on the high ground now, so he went straight for turtling up a little bit here, it looks like. He's got his other supply depot here blocking me in, which, believe it or not, actually helps him out. But see, now he's dropping off his units to come harass me back home. And they do manage to kill my queen, which is okay, because I had been creating this here army, which made quick work of him, and sent him back to stage. I got all my static defenses on his main throughway there. That's probably why he kept coming in with air, but it took me way longer than it should have to realize that this here spore crawler would probably be a good idea. And I put a spine crawler just in case he manages to actually drop some guys off. Lost one of my workers here, but it's not a huge deal, especially considering here in a couple more minutes I get another gas going up. I do never notice that. Another thing, I don't pay much attention, but creep spread slow, but steadily working towards his base. I never make it all the way. Another thing that I'm bad at. See, I'm terrible. I belong in the Silver League. It's okay. But he sends a couple more of the siege tanks out. I don't think he puts these in siege mode, though. Not sure why. But his workers doing pretty slow upgrades here. I've now got 50 to his 31, and my army way outnumbers his. His army should be a lot bigger than it is by now. That's really he's got another barracks with the reactor, so that's going to help him out a little bit. But by now he should have several. He should get to a point 15 minutes into the match where if I do wipe out his army, he can just make another one. I mean, Terran can't necessarily create, like, they can't replenish their forces as fast. You know, you've got the warp-in mechanic for the Protoss, and the Zerg are just naturally fast anyway, because look at this little menagerie here that's going down. Because all that army that he just spent all that time building, already gone. Should not have focused on that, should have just come straight up here to try and get this out of the way. I realize that I've made a horrible mistake, and I tried to cut my losses and book it out of there. These guys do escape, not a huge number of them there. We've got like 10 that made it out alive, but that's okay, because still working on army up here. All these guys will come out. These are regular roaches. Still got my injects going up. Still spreading creep. Still trying to kind of work my way across the map to him, but now that he has no army, there's not much he can do. He's got 30 army supply at this point, and his worker count has dropped by about 5 due to my little incursion there. I realize that he's tearing and he's building up these defenses and everything, so I come down here and I set up my baneling nest, and I'm working on a hydralisk den to take care of some of that air. I'm not going to end up making a lot of hydralisks, that's fine. I'm just, at this point, worried about circumnavigating any of the defenses or things of that nature that he's kind of screwed me over on. However, as you can see, I've already got my army back up to full strength, and they're going in for round 2. He's got a few medevacs here, which is going to keep his guys alive not long at all, because he's got a total of 16 Marines, and already I've lost more than he has, but it doesn't look too much like a bad thing when it's ZvT, especially in this kind of setup. So he immediately lifts off, knows that he's kind of screwed this time. He doesn't have the defenses to hold it off, and he doesn't have the offense to kind of stand his ground and fight. So I immediately go in and take out those tanks because they were causing me the most butthurt. He sends out a couple of these Vikings on ground mode. Did not last long at all, so I immediately cut down a couple of his supply depots and then work my way over here. Start working on his workers, which have now gone down to a total of 17. APM makes a huge jump for me, obviously, there. But see, look at all this crap compared to the few units that he has. His army value is tanking. And bad news for him, I've got more units on the way. Now, neither of us has anything in production at this point because it's come into a base race. This is basically all or nothing at this point, and this army is ready to rock. These guys are just kind of cutting a little bit farther into the supply depot over there. He's got a little rebuild effort going on over here. He's trying to do as much as he can with the time he's got, so he buries a couple widow mines over here. Actually do help. He kills off a couple of my roaches there. Probably not, I didn't notice them at all, but that command center immediately gone. And now with my hydralisks in there, anything that he's got lifted off doesn't stand a chance. He has no workers. That's the game. So this was Silver League play. Pretty basic stuff. Nothing spectacular. He ended up losing about 11,000 resources worth of units. It was actually very even as far as units and resources lost the whole game. However, I finished strong, kept most of my army with Terran versus where you really don't want to lose that army. That's a bad thing. So, once he lost that first army with my first wave of Zerglings, or rather, I guess, Roaches and Banelings, by the time that happened, I already had another sizable army ready to go. And that's kind of the benefit of Zerg. You just power in numbers. Plow through anything. This is a pretty standard build. It's a little bit of a modification on a build that I would normally use. I would normally go do one of my gas a little early and then get my my hatchery up first, because it's going to end up being a lot of macro. If you don't take out that first army, if you don't hit Terran soon, then they can eventually just match you in production and macro and all that fun stuff. And then obviously you want your pool quickly so you can start getting your queens out and your forces and things like that. Double upgrades just so you can get them trained that much faster. This is kind of a timing build, because as soon as your missile upgrades and your first roach upgrade, your glial reconstitution or whatever it's called, comes up, your army should be knocking down the front door. So thanks for watching, and I will see you folks next time. Thank you.